All right, back at it today. Kids had a good recovery day yesterday. Practice 7. This will be a 5-practice block, ending with our second scrimmage. We've got a lot of work to do, but I'm encouraged and happy about some of the progress we're making. I believe Sunday we have Fan Appreciation Day. We're looking forward to that. It's always a good time with our fans. And congratulations to Andrew Allegretta for his job. He's been a pleasure to work with over the last several years. Congratulations to him. So, questions?
Raise your hand. Get your microphone.
What were your takeaways from the first scrimmage, and did you have any of the quarterbacks go live?
No, we usually don't do that in the fall. Did you tell everybody to turn their phone off? What were we talking? Oh, scrimmage. Quarterbacks. No, we didn't do that. We usually don't do that in the fall. We'd usually sometimes do it a little bit in the spring. Some good and some bad, some good competition out there. There's some guys out there competing for chances to play, which I think is a good thing. So, that was kind of our base installation. Now we'll move to some situational work, red zone, goal line, third down, into game situations this week.
A little bit to that second cornerback position and what you've seen there, who's competing, and what you like or don't like.
Well, I like the way those guys are going about it. You've got Waller and Quillen and Chapman, Farley, and then you haven't even gotten to Webb and Nadir. There's good competition there for the starting spot, for backup spots. I mean, those guys are continuing to work to improve, and I like the way they're going about it.
What was it from Caleb Farley last year to this year? What are some of the things that you really wanted to see him make strides in?
Well, he had the strength. He hadn't played football in a while, and he's playing a new position for him. And he's got to be a little bit stronger in the run game. I think he would tell you that. Continue to become a better tackler. He's a willing tackler. He's got to become a better tackler. I think the offseason, his strength numbers have increased. I think that's giving him more and more confidence when it comes to trying to get guys on the ground.
I know it's only been a week, but what are sort of your initial impressions of Keyshawn King?
Explosive. He had a couple nice runs in the scrimmage. He's not scared. I mean, he pours it up in there, and he's got some elite quickness. I mean, he's been fun to watch so far. We've got a lot of work to do with him, but he's had a good camp thus far.
Typically, is it blocking and holding back young guys like that? Is it the part that they're not used to most when they get here?
Yeah, being an everyday on back and running the ball occasionally are two different things. And but what I have seen is that he's a willing blocker. I mean, he is. He's not scared to run up there and throw what weight he does have around.
You mentioned last year it felt like the team got a little complacent. That's kind of where some of the struggles stem from. And you mentioned that this year that attitude has really shifted towards a positive direction. Have you noticed that has started to translate onto the field, so it's not just in the locker room, but as you're looking at X's and O's and execution?
Well, I mean, I don't know how to answer that question, to be honest with you. I think we're continuing to get better. I think there's a myriad of reasons. More knowledge, more strength and better condition, more time in the program. And the guys seem to genuinely enjoy each other's company. So I think there's a bunch of factors that are contributing to what we hope is improvement.
What have you seen from Connor at Whip so far?
Shamari? Oh, I was pretty pleased with him coming out of the spring, and I'm probably just as pleased now. And he's a big, strong kid that is a good tackler, is an intense competitor, was one of our better special teams players as a true freshman last year, and has settled into that role pretty well. I'm excited about his future.
What have you been most surprised about so far in camp?
Oh, it's always fun to see the young guys get out there. I always try not to make too much of them after 6 practices. There's still a long way to go, but you work to recruit guys and develop those relationships, and it's always fun to finally get on the field with them. So there have been some guys we expected to be good that we're excited about, and anxious to continue to bring them along. So I don't know if there's one thing that's been surprising to me. I felt good coming into camp, and I still feel good now that we've got a good nucleus of guys that care about each other and are working hard towards improvement.
You talked in the spring about leadership and some of the emerging leaders, and then I know they go through the off-season workout and you kind of count on those guys. Were there any people at the end of spring that you challenged that still weren't there that you thought needed to lead this team? And if so, have you seen an improvement?
Well, I don't know if there's a single person that was called out to be a better leader. I think that there's a challenge for our leadership council to continue to set a great example and bring some of our other players along. There's some young players that are involved in that it's always interesting for them to find their way as leaders when they're only a year or going into their second year of their program. So there was nobody specifically, but I think as a group, they're doing a really good job of trying to bring others along.
I don't know if there's a position on the team that's more unknowns once you get further down than the defensive line to that second group. Is there anything you've seen from them so far that's encouraging or makes you feel better about the depth there?
Well, I feel good about the young guys. I mean, it's still early, but I mean, there's been encouraging signs from Norrell and Mario and Fuga, the 3 freshmen that we brought in. I'm really excited about the future and what they can be. How soon that happens or when that happens, I'm not certain, obviously, but Jalen Griffin's a guy at tackle at end, that's I think becoming more comfortable there as well. So, some definite signs of progress and hope there. And that's not to discount Hewitt and Crawford and some of those guys. But those 3 new guys, I think, are pretty talented.
Doug Nestor, now that you've seen him kind of pads and a couple practices in, how's he looked, and what are your kind of thoughts on him?
I think if he continues to work hard, which I know he will, he's got a chance to have a really bright future. I mean, he's incredibly diligent. He's got some element of perfectionist to him in terms of really wanting to do well and concentrating and focusing on the mental part of playing offensive line, which it's quite a load there. So we knew he was talented. We knew he was a great person, great family. If he stays on course and continues to work, I think he's got a chance to be a really good player.
And J.R. Walker was a guy Coach Foster really complimented at the end of spring. What was his summer like, and how's he kind of built on that, kind of going into here in the fall?
Oh, he had a good summer. It was still, you forget some of those guys that come in at semester that it's really their first summer. Sometimes as coaches we forget about that because they've been here for a semester. But so you throw them into the older guys and the freshmen that didn't come at semester, they're kind of by themselves. So he was certainly challenged. Really finished the summer strong. We're really proud of that, and continues to develop. And what role I don't know yet, obviously, but I know he stood out in several special teams drills and has a chance to be a good player for us.
Couple more, Andy.
We've talked about some of the younger offensive linemen. There's some older guys that haven't played a ton, like Terrell Smith, T.J. Jackson. Do they have a chance here to work their way into the mix somewhere?
Absolutely. Terrell has been a great leader for us, not just in that room, but on the entire team. incredible worker, great strength numbers. And, he knows this is his last go-around, so he's pushing hard. TJ is maybe the most unique athlete I've seen out there in terms of his size and athletic ability. And, every day he continues to take steps forward to being a good player, not just a big special athlete. So, I think they're definitely pushing, and they're going to have opportunities.
You see the weight of TJ 359 and kind of your eyes pop open, but he can move at that size.
Oh yeah, he's of course he's got his only carries his weight in one spot, like right here. But if you in seriousness, if you look at him, I mean he is a really athletic person, like a really special athlete, and a pleasure to be around. Wonderful mother, just a joy. Like really, I don't say this about a lot of people, but you talk about somebody that brightens up the room when you're in there. That's T.J. Jackson. Great smile, always in a good mood, always kind of giving a positive spin to other people. But yeah, he is a good athlete. He's a very good athlete, and his weight. He'll lose a little bit of weight here in fall camp. It's always been something that we've kept an eye on and managed, but he seems to be able to move at a high weight pretty well.
Last one in the back.
I'm looking at the offensive line compared to last year. What are you seeing in the differences? I mean, you have a line that's pretty talked about right now, and they're pretty large. So what do you think is going to be the key difference between the 2 years?
Well, we got a couple tackles with some experience, that didn't have much experience last year. And, Luke Tenuta is a guy that is pushing for playing time. I mean, he is well over 300 pounds now and has really been impressive. He's pushing at the tackle spot as well. And we do have some size and athleticism and a little bit of experience. I think that's been key, is getting some game reps for those guys. You never have enough. We always want more, but I'm encouraged by the fact that these guys have played, and they do have some size and athleticism.
Was there any update on Hoffman?
There's no update on Brock. Braxton was denied, and he and his family and our administration, or compliance essentially, they're working through the appeals process. But I don't have anything for you on Brock, unfortunately.
All right. Coach Hamilton up next.
All right, thank y'all.